Dave Portnoy, the fiery and often controversial founder of Barstool Sports, shocked a lot of people this week when he publicly gave credit to Angel Reese, a player he's long gone after with biting criticism. Known for being one of Reese's loudest detractors, Portnoy has labeled her classless on multiple occasions and frequently mocked her, especially during her highly publicized rivalry with Caitlin Clark. So, when he suddenly took to social media to offer her praise, fans were stunned. It wasn't just that he said something nice, it was what he acknowledged that had everyone talking. Portnoy, a man not known for changing his tune, was now tipping his cap to Reese's sharp business instincts, showing that even her harshest critics can't ignore how smart she's been about building her brand. So, what exactly changed his mind? It all comes down to one word: mebounds. Originally a sarcastic insult floating around social media, the term poked fun at Reese's missed layups that would often lead to her grabbing offensive rebounds. For many, it was a way to minimize her impact on the court, a joke that seemed to stick around after tough games. But instead of letting the nickname get to her, Reese did something most athletes wouldn't dare. She claimed it. She trademarked the word and flipped the script. What was once meant to embarrass her became a badge of honor, a symbol of hustle, determination, and control over her own narrative. It was the kind of business move that turns critics into reluctant admirers. Reese's team didn't stop there. The branding move took a big step forward when Reebok, the athletic wear company that's already aligned itself with bold, culture-shifting athletes, released a new signature colorway titled the Angel Reese One, Mebounds. That announcement cemented Mebounds not just as a catchy slogan or internet meme, but as a legit piece of her identity as both an athlete and a brand. It turned a negative moment into a marketing home run, one that aligned perfectly with her image of being resilient, fearless, and unapologetically herself. This wasn't just smart, it was game-changing. Reese didn't just play defense, she went on offense in the business world. And that's when Portnoy finally caved. Even through his usual layer of sarcasm and snark, the praise was unmistakable. On the social media platform X, he posted, "I hate sports sense Angel Reese. Hate her. That's how much it pains me to admit how brilliant it was for her team to trademark mebounds and make it her thing. Brilliant. I hate how brilliant it is." Now, coming from anyone else, this might have sounded petty or backhanded, but this was Dave Portnoy, a man who's built a brand on never backing down. The fact that he publicly acknowledged the genius behind Reese's move, even while gritting his teeth, says a lot about how effective and strategic that move really was. It wasn't just a win in marketing, it was a win over one of her most vocal critics. What makes Angel Reese's story even more compelling is that she's doing all of this at just 23 years old, and only her second season with the Chicago Sky. She's not just making noise, she's making history. On the court, she's averaging a double-double with 14 points and 12.6 rebounds per game. But her development doesn't stop there. One of the most underrated aspects of her game has been her vision and passing ability. Last season, she averaged just under 2 assists per game. This year, that number has jumped to nearly 4. That kind of improvement shows she's not coasting, she's actively evolving. She's studying the game, finding her teammates, and learning how to become more of a playmaker while still dominating the boards. And her recent run has been nothing short of impressive. Over the last 14 games, she's been on fire, averaging 16.4 points, 12.8 rebounds, and 4 points for assists, all while shooting an efficient 50% from the field. These numbers don't just tell the story of a player finding her rhythm, they scream that Reese has arrived as a complete player. She's not just a rebounder, she's a scorer, a passer, a leader. And what's truly remarkable is that she's balancing that rise in her performance with a growing business portfolio that already rivals veterans in the league. Whether it's sneakers, endorsements, or clever branding plays like mebounds, she's proving that she understands how to thrive in the modern sports world, both on the hardwood and in the marketplace. But perhaps the most significant part of this narrative is what Portnoy's begrudging praise represents. For someone who's openly sided with Caitlin Clark in their rivalry and repeatedly trashed Reese, this shift in tone is bigger than just one tweet. It reflects how Reese's consistency, growth, and marketing brilliance are forcing even her biggest skeptics to take notice. She's breaking through the noise and winning people over, not by changing who she is, but by doubling down on her identity and embracing the criticism as fuel. In a league that's finally getting the recognition it deserves, Angel Reese isn't just participating, she's shaping the story. She's rewriting what it means to be a star in women's basketball, and she's doing it her way. In today's sports world, where a player's image and personal brand can have just as much impact as their stats, Angel Reese is showing exactly how it's done. by owning a nickname that was meant to diminish her and turning it into a symbol of strength. She's proving that athletes can take control of their narratives in ways that go beyond the court. Mebounce isn't just a clever trademark, it's a message. It says that no one else gets to define her. That resilience, vision, and business savvy can coexist with grit, grind, and talent. And that when critics throw shade, sometimes the smartest move is to turn it into your spotlight. Angel Reese's ability to transform criticism into opportunity isn't just impressive, it's revolutionary for women's sports. Far too often, female athletes are boxed into rigid narratives. Either they're too soft or too aggressive, too flashy or not marketable enough. Reese refuses to be boxed in. She's rewriting the rules as she goes. The Mebounce trademark didn't just flip the meaning of a joke, it became a signal to young women everywhere that you can own your flaws, control your image, and still walk into every room with confidence. That message is powerful, especially in a league that's still fighting for equal attention and investment. Her rise also mirrors the larger movement happening in the WNBA. The league is in a moment of growth, record-breaking viewership, packed arenas, and rising stars grabbing headlines on a daily basis. Players like Caitlin Clark, AJ Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, and now Angel Reese are part of a new wave that's pushing the league into uncharted territory. But what separates Reese is how she leans into both the game and the business. She's not waiting for the spotlight, she's dragging it in her direction. And when she gets it, she knows exactly what to do with it. Another element that makes her branding success so notable is how it challenges the old school idea that athletes should just play. For years, players, especially women, were discouraged from showing too much personality or stepping outside of basketball. Reese has made it clear that her voice matters just as much as her stats. She's embraced media attention, she's spoken on social issues, and she's made sure that the world knows she's not afraid of a little backlash. That kind of confidence is rare, and it's forcing people, including those who once dismissed her, to pay attention. Her partnership with Reebok is also part of a bigger trend that shows how the business of basketball is changing. In the past, a WNBA player having a signature sneaker was almost unheard of. Now, not only does Reese have her own signature line, but she's turning a social media nickname into a global brand. This kind of innovation is reshaping how companies approach women athletes. Reese isn't just an ambassador, she's a collaborator. And her ability to blend authenticity with strategy makes her exactly the kind of star brands want to align with. At the same time, her rivalry with Caitlin Clark remains one of the most compelling storylines in sports, not because of the drama, but because of how both women are raising the bar. Clark is setting records and changing how people view the point guard position. Reese is redefining power forward dominance, while building a brand that speaks far beyond the court. Their careers are running parallel, but instead of tearing each other down, their presence is pushing each other and the league to new heights. Even when people like Portnoy try to frame them as polar opposites, their dual impact is making the WNBA more visible and more exciting than ever. Looking ahead, the path Reese is on could set a new precedent for how young athletes approach their careers. She's proving that you don't need to wait for approval from the media or validation from sponsors. You can carve your own lane and bring the spotlight with you. With every rebound, every headline, every brand deal, Angel Reese is showing the next generation that success isn't just about stats or titles, it's about knowing your worth, staying true to your voice, and turning every challenge into a moment to shine. And if that bothers her critics, even better. She's not here to play it safe, she's here to make history.